Welcome back to another episode of Battle Axe. Believe it or not, this is the start of season number 10. As always, I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford at the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, where we are set to begin a new season. There's some new rules this season as well, and we're going to go over them right about now. All of the rings are still worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points. The bullseye still worth 6 points. But as you can see, there are now 4 new bullseyes. They're all on the 3 ring. They're worth 6 points as well. Once a player hits it, they can't hit it again and get 6 points until they switch sides. If they get that 5 ring, which is outside of the bullseye, they still get the 5 points at any point during a match. We've also added 2 kill shots to the format this year. You'll see the small blue dots on the outermost ring. Those are still worth 8 points if you hit it, and a player can go for it at any point during a match. And there's also an outer ring around the kill shot. That's now worth 6 points. We are set to go here. We're going to pick things up in week number 2, and here is what everybody's playing for.
Yeah, Joey, we have a lot of new rules here in Battle Axe, but everyone's still playing for the same World Axe Throwing League championship belt, currently held by Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. And as we've seen already, we're entering week 2, so a lot of these players are getting used to that new board. There's going to be a lot of new strategy, and really everything's kind of thrown up in the air, and really anything can happen.
Yeah, a lot of formidable opponents as always, and with the new rules, it's going to really make things interesting here on season number 10 of Battle Axe. Let's take a look at the standings after the first week of competition. It's Bradshaw leading the way. He's 2-2 on the season, but points per game is what determines the postseason format. So Bradshaw leading the way, averaging 48 points per game.
Yeah, we've seen Matt go entire seasons without 2 losses, and after week 1, he already has 2 of them, but he is still atop the leaderboard there with 192 for a score and averaging 48 points. But Bob Yoakum's right behind him at an impressive 4-0, looking to come for that number 1 spot.
Let's get things started here on week number 2 of season 10 of Battle Axe. But before we do, we've got an interview with the defending champion, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, on the new rules this season.
New rules are interesting. It's basically it's a level playing field with everybody. You've got 4 additional bullseyes and 2 additional kill shots at various levels. So you have anywhere from upwards of 5 different aim points and 5 different alignments. So you really have to focus in on each throw versus just muscle memory from last year's rules. So I think that creates an even playing field for even the seasoned throwers to all the new league members. So it's going to be interesting. Everybody's going to be tightly bunched now.
Makes it a lot harder to get into a rhythm and just pound that bullseye like we've seen Magic Man do time and time again. Really opens things up for the rest of the field.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to have to adjust their muscle memory, and it's really going to make for more exciting matches, I'm sure.
Our first matchup here in week number 2, Zach Hinkle will be taking on the defending champ, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw.
So we see Zach coming in at 3-1 after week 1, Matt coming in at 2-2. Looks like a 4 there for Zach to get the season started.
4-6.
And a nice bullseye. So now, Joey, that bullseye is eliminated from Matt's throw until he switches sides. So if he hits that same shot again, it will just be a 5. So we'll see here if the strategy, I'm interested to see if they're going to kind of focus up on this 5 and 6 ring, Joey, and then move on when they have to. And as you can see, Matt is already moving on to the next bullseye.
I think with a player with the skill set of Bradshaw,
Yeah.
I fully expect him to try and go around the board and get all 5 of those bullseyes, because even if you miss it, if you're close enough, you'll still get the 5 points.
Yeah, we've seen Matt with his caliber of throwing. He can really kind of zone in. It's just really figuring out that placement and that release point.
5-5.
And you can see he's just moving across the board to the right-hand side now. And what used to be a 3 is now a 5.
So it's Bradshaw leading by 3 after the first 3 throws against Zach Hinkle. Hinkle's still looking for his first bullseye.
Yeah, and I think for a player like Zach, with the experience level that he has, focusing up on that 5 and 6 ring is not a bad strategy to start the season, because you all know the axe can get away from you a little bit. So maybe you get lucky and that 3 turns into a 5 or a 6, but you don't want to really bank on that. You want to kind of just focus up and play your game. And as you can see there, 17 to 22
5,
going
yes,
into the
correct.
5th throw.
Another bullseye for the Magic Man. Throw number 5 on the way.
Looks like that's a 4 there for Zach. And you can see Matt just focusing up. He's going back to that center, but it is a 5. So what normally would be a 6 is now a 5 until he switches sides here. So a 6-point lead for the Magic Man going into the turn.
Sides 27.
You know, the rules may have changed, but Matt's pants have not. He's got some nice macaroni and cheese pants going on to start off with a turn with a nice bullseye there.
It's making me hungry. So Matt the Magic Man up 33-26 now. 4 throws to go.
And then for Zach, he's just kind of find that 5 and 6 ring. It's fortunate that that's a 5 there for the Magic Man. An 8-point lead. But, yeah, Zach's in the situation where, you know, he's just going to focus up on that 5 and 6 ring. Matt's going to focus up on those other bullseyes, see if he can take advantage of the new rules, possibly go for kill shots. I don't know if that's going to affect the aggressiveness of players like the Magic Man or Eric the Scope for going for a kill shot.
Well, with an 8-point lead, the Magic Man can certainly afford to go for the kill shot if he wants. And I would expect to see more kill shots this year, considering you've got that 6 ring around the kill shot now.
Correct.
So it gives a little more margin for error.
And if they do go for the kill shot, Joey, and they miss it, but they hit inside that 6 ring, they still get that 6 points. So it's not a all loss there. Nice throw there by Zach. Looks like a bullseye there.
6-5.
And what would be a bullseye there for Matt is now a 5. So Zach able to gain a point, but that bullseye is eliminated from his throw.
48, 41.
Zach might have a little kill shot looking, and
Looks
he
like,
is.
yeah, he is. He's going to go for it.
I
Try
love
and
it.
put a little pressure on the Magic Man.
I love it. You know, week 2, you know, you just want to kind of get used to that. He now has already been through one tournament, and he knows how important it is, and we'll see. They're celebrating like he got it.
Hold up, 5.
Eric the Scope's going to get a closer look. It's a big ruling here for Zach's confidence.
I think regardless, he's at least
Ooh.
going to get 6 points.
Yes, I think the thumbs up there from Eric suggests that he got the 6 points.
Right, you look right under it.
Yeah, so that's the new rule with the kill shot. You get 6 points if you can get it in the ring around the kill shot. However, if you miss that, you still get nothing.
Yeah, well, and Zach was pleading his case there for a little bit, but still going for that kill shot on the 10th throw, but not hitting it, but getting inside that 6 ring still allows you to come away with 6 points for a nice score of 47. I love the aggressive call because Zach's already been now through one tournament. He knows how important those kill shots are come tournament time, so there's no better time than week 2 to get it started. And a nice score of 47. He falls to 3-2. But for Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, new rules, not a lot's changed. There's a lot of 5s and a lot of 6s. I look forward to seeing him kind of test out these new boards and get back into form.
And we talked about how these new rules really kind of open things up for the rest of the field. They certainly did here with Zach Hinkle. He lost, but only by 6 points. He was right in it. Here's Zach Hinkle on the new format here this season.
Does it even the playing field? I guess it does because, yeah, like the people who are hitting the 6s just constantly on all 10, you know, they could get 60. So it does even the playing field. I think Matt only beat me by like 5 that round, and normally he's just at like 60 points. So it does even the playing field to my advantage. So I don't know where that all falls, where like when you're getting to like tournament style, and I mean, the goal of the league is to get the most amount of points. And then I guess you figure out the tournament later.
Well, one of the best parts of Battle Axe is the camaraderie and fellowship amongst the competitors. Jill Kedley entering her 2nd season here of Battle Axe. Here's an interview with Kedley about meeting new people in the league.
So we came into the league really only knowing Devin, and that was because she was on my Dragon Boat team. So it was nice to have that relationship already. But we came into the league originally, we didn't know anybody. We didn't know what to expect. It's been so much fun to learn from the people that are here, the seasoned people that can help us, give us tips, tell us what we're missing when we're throwing, for example. You don't realize sometimes your elbow is out, and so it's nice to get that feedback from the people that are here. Everybody gets along, and they're all helpful for each other, and we're all cheering each other on.
So many great players in this league, and they all want to help each other get better.
Absolutely. It's one of the great things about Battle Axe, and everyone wants to, of course, win their matchup, but they also want to have a really great competition and see their competitors excel as well.
Time for our next matchup. It'll feature Jill Kedley against Eric the Scope Shizzle.
Yeah, so our first time seeing Eric the Scope and Jill Kedley. Eric coming in at 3-1, Jill coming in at 2-2. Get to see how both players are going to play the board here. Looks like a nice 4 there for Jill to get started. Ooh, that could be a 4 there for Eric as well, and it looks like it's ruled that.
Eric the Scope frustrated. He's one of the veterans of this league. He's been around since the very beginning, a former champion who wants to get that belt back in his possession.
He absolutely wants to get that belt. He's a man on a mission. You can see Jill kind of holding on to that axe just a little bit too long, and there Eric's finding his stroke. Oh, I take that back. That's actually a 4 there.
But as we've talked about a lot on Battle Axe, it was a better miss than his last throw. You want to miss
Correct.
north and south, and Eric the Scope getting closer to that middle bullseye.
You know, we with these new rules, Joey, though, we might have to throw it out the window because now missing east to west it might help you.
Might not be such a bad thing anymore. Eric the Scope pounds that middle bullseye, and it gives him a 3-point advantage.
Yeah, so Eric finding that bullseye. Now that center bullseye is off the table for him until he switches sides. Let's see if he wants to keep playing that middle or if he's going to switch up to some of the other bullseyes here. And it looks like we're seeing his strategy. He's going to switch up to the top left there. Now we'll see if that's a 5 or a 6.
Classic turn. 5-4.
Ooh, and ruled a 5 there by the Magic Man, but very close to being a bullseye there.
Eric the Scope getting a closer look. He's not going to contest it.
All right, this is throw
But
number
again,
5.
it's a new throw for all these kind of competitors. You know, when the players that really kind of hone their skills into getting that 4, 5, and 6 ring, especially the ones that live in that 5 and 6 ring, they're not used to throwing 3s. So even moving over to try to hit that other bullseye, it's got to be a little foreign to them. And I mean, it's dangerous territory when you miss, just like Eric did. He missed that bullseye, so that's a 3 there. So Jill able to get 2 points on him going into the turn.
And that's exactly why things have opened wide up for everyone in this league.
Yeah, so far, Joey, I'm loving these new rules because really what it does is creates chaos all the way up until that 10th throw.
So it's a 3-point lead now for Eric the Scope. He can now hit that middle bullseye since he has switched sides. That's what he's trying to do here to extend his lead.
And, you know, for the new throwers that are still trying to find their throw, and a great throw there by Joe that looks like that could be a bullseye if it's popping through in the top part of that blade. But their consistency, it's really a tortoise versus the hare kind of situation we have where if they can stay consistently in that 5 and 6 ring and the other players are going to be aggressive going for those 5s and 6s on that 3 ring, if they don't hit those and those 3s, that's where we kind of come back in that old adage where those 5s and 6s versus 3s and 4s can really create separation between you and your opponent.
Should create for one of the most exciting postseasons we've seen yet here on Battle Axe.
Eric with a nice throw there. It looks like a 5 there to take a 3-point lead going into the 9th throw, but still very much attainable here for Jill. She's just got to stay focused on that 5 and 6 ring. She still has that bullseye in the second half of her game here.
Well, it looks like Eric the Scope is contemplating going for a kill shot.
It does. We know the Scope is no stranger to going for a kill shot. It looks like there's the official call right there that he went for the kill shot. And it looks like Jill's just going to play the middle of the board, shaking her head, knowing that she desperately wanted a 5 or 6, and Axe just kind of sailing on her. But Eric the Scope in mid-season form, Joey.
Looks like he nailed the kill shot, and he did. 8 points for Eric the Scope, and that's pretty much the dagger in this match.
New rules, but some things stay the same. So Eric the Scope finding the kill shot there on his 9th throw, take a 43-36 lead, and he says, hey, why not do it again?
This is very aggressive. He's up by 7, but keep in mind, if he doesn't get in the bullseye ring around that kill shot, he'll get nothing, and that could open the door. But
Jill with the 4 there kind of seals the deal on this matchup, but he's going to go down to that lower left-hand side kill shot. It looks like he's off the mark, but maybe he got a 6, Joey.
That is a miss. 4 and miss.
yeah, Jill would have had to have gone for the kill shot and hit it to have gotten back in this one. I would have liked to see her take a shot at that, get a little aggressive, but it's Eric the Scope getting the win, 43-40 the final.
Yeah, Eric with a nice kill shot there on his 9th throw, off the mark on the kill shot on that 10th throw, but still gets the victory to improve his record to 4-1 with only 1 bullseye there on the card, but I'm going to attribute that to kind of just getting used to the new board and figuring out his strategy. And then for Jill, she's got to really take a lot of positive momentum from this game and move it on to the next game. She hung in that matchup with Eric the Scope. She was very much in it. It was a 3-point game going into the 9th throw. So a lot of things to learn, staying consistently in the middle part of that board. And she could really put up some serious numbers now.
We are just getting started with these new rules on this new season of Battle Axe. Much more still to come. Stay tuned to MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. It's week number 2 of a 7-week regular season leading up to a double elimination postseason tournament, and there's a lot of new rules this season. Here's an interview with Devin Hillary on adjusting to the new rules.
I do, actually, and I don't think it's just bringing the awesome throwers down a little bit. I think it's also forcing everybody that's usually maybe in lower scoring areas. It pushes them up. I mean, I feel like it's just causing everybody to kind of meet in the middle. So, you just have good competition all over the place.
Get your popcorn ready. Devin Hillary ready to put on a show.
Yeah, excited to see the first matchup between these two competitors, and let's get to it.
Ann Welp will be taking on Devin Hillary.
So Devin coming in for her 2nd season. Ann has been in, I believe, 4 seasons so far, coming in at 0-4, so getting used to that new board. But as we saw in last year's tournament, Joey, Ann made a really nice run to go a lot farther than I think she thought she was going to go.
I get it now. Come back.
But it looks like Devin's already contesting one of the calls, ruled a 4, but
5.
Eric with a closer look rules that it's a 5.
And it gives Devin a 1-point advantage.
Yeah, so Devin focusing up on that 5 and 6 ring. I think that's going to be the strategy there for both competitors.
3-3.
But as you can see, the axe can get away from them. But, for Devin's case, it's slightly more to the right and a little up, and that's all of a sudden a 5 or a 6. So you don't want to bank on the chaos, but it's nice to have it out there.
It'll make things even more interesting.
4-4.
Looks like a couple 4s there. Could be popping through on the top part there for Devin, but she chooses not to contest it. Takes her 4. But yeah, for both these competitors, they're still in that same process of trying to find that 5 and 6 ring. Really nice throw there by Devin. Found that 5. So they're not going to venture out too much and try to, bite off more than they can chew.
2 points.
And you've got to hit the bullseye first in the middle before you really start worrying about that.
Correct.
Anyways.
Exactly. So kind of take it as it comes.
4-4.
A couple 4s there, but still
All right, switch
a
sides.
2-point lead here for
21,
Devin going
Devin, you're
into
still up by
the
2.
turn.
Looking good, looking good.
Both players staying consistently within their game.
4-3.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that.
I was going to say, Eric's going to get a closer look here. That looks like that could be a 4 if it's popping in the top part of that blade.
4.
And he corrects himself, so it's a first instance of the vortex here, Joey.
Well, every point crucial here in this 2-point matchup between Devin Hillary and Ann Welp.
4-4.
Another couple 4s there, so Devin able to maintain her 2-point lead going into the 8th throw.
On throw number 8. Still.
I don't know if you saw it there on that last throw there, Joey, though, that Devin's axe was a little bit wobbly, and we don't want to have any drops here in Battle Axe.
4-4.
Well, Ann Welp just missed that bullseye on the 3 ring there, but everybody's stuck in the vortex right now.
Yeah, so 4 consecutive 4s by both these players. Devin able to maintain her 2-point lead. Let's see if they can start finding some bullseyes, maybe 5s. But again, Joey, they're getting ever so close to those. I don't want to call them accidental,
37.
bullseyes, but they're flirting with it.
Nothing but 4s here from Devin Hillary for the last several rounds, but it looks like both of them just broke out of that with a couple of 5s and perhaps a bullseye.
Yeah, I was going to say, Devin's for sure looks like a bullseye, but Ann's is a ruled a 5. So Devin able to get an extra point there just for good measure on the 10th throw.
Devin Hillary saving her best throw for last to put it away a bullseye sealing the deal as Hillary beats Welp 43-40.
Yeah, so Devin improves her record to 3-2 with a nice bullseye there on her 10th throw. Both players got stuck in the vortex, as we saw there with a couple throws where they could probably have accidentally hit one of those 5 or 6 rings in that 3 ring. But as it stands, Devin improves her record to 3-2 and unfortunately falls to 0-5. But as we've seen in leagues past, Joey, she can get on a really good hot streak, really start putting up some really impressive scores. And she could be a very dangerous competitor as well.
Ann Welp still looking for her first victory of the season, and you've got to have short memory in Battle Axe. Eric Schizzle is going to be taking on Ann Welp. She'll get right out there and do it again.
Yeah, she had a really great throw on her 10th throw. Let's see if she can carry it over here to this next matchup versus the Scope, who had a nice victory over Jill Kedley in his first matchup. Ooh, nice throw there. Looks like that throw there from Ann on her 10th throw versus Devin is carrying over to this matchup. So a couple bullseyes there to get started, Joey.
Great start here for Ann Welp and Eric Schizzle. They can no longer score 6 if they hit the bullseye in the middle until they switch sides. So we'll see how they play the board now.
Yeah, I want to see if Andrew's going to stay in the middle there, and it looks like that's exactly what she's going to do, but another nice 5. And as we saw with Eric's first matchup, he's going to start moving to that top left bullseye. Unfortunately for him, he is off the mark, and that is a 4. So Ann able to take a 1-point lead going into the 3rd throw. And that's the kind of strategy, Joey. Another great throw there by Ann. That's going to be a 5.
5, 6.
And it looks like that's a bullseye there for Eric. So that bullseye is eliminated from his throw.
No, she had 5.
And it looks like Eric's a little confused. Everyone's got a learning curve here on week number 2.
Okay.
So we are all tied up at 16. And to your point, Bobby, when you're the aggressor, it really allows your opponent to kind of just play the middle of that board. If you don't have quite the skill set to go out there and get all of those bullseyes, you can just kind of sit and wait and see what the aggressor does and adjust accordingly.
Absolutely. I mean, we always say you don't want to bank on your opponent to make a mistake, but your opponent can actually be the one making the mistakes by not hitting that 5 and 6 ring and then having that devastating 3, possibly a 4 if they're off the mark.
Let me be the referee, man.
And you can
5-5.
see a couple 5s there, so Ann able to find that middle 5 ring, and it looks like the bottom part of that blade hit for Eric the Scope. But again, we're all tied up going into the 5th throw.
Throw 5. You guys are
Exciting
5.
matchup.
Throw the records out the window here on Battle Axe. These new rules have made things awfully interesting.
Ooh, and Ann's going to hope that that's a 4, hopefully popping through in the top part of the blade for her. And we'll see Eric is off the mark, and he's going to hope that that's a 3. You can see Beth Jen getting a closer look. Looks to me like it's popping through in the top part of that blade. These are 2 big throws. Crucial ruling.
It's my middle name.
We'll see what she says.
3-2.
Wow. So a rare 2 by Eric the Scope Schizzle. He falls to a 1-point deficit versus Ann Welp going into the turn.
Closer look.
Wow.
So Welp and Schizzle
All right,
will
Ann is up
switch
by 1.
sides. And now that center bullseye is back open for business. We'll see how these two play the second half of this one in a nail-biting matchup.
Yeah, and for Eric now, he's been popping around the board a little bit. He's kind of reset. We'll see maybe if he tries to stay in the
4,
progression
5.
that he was in. It looks like he's going to go back to the middle of the board there, try to reset. But Ann with another nice 5 to take a 2-point lead over Eric the Scope going into the 7th throw. So how quickly one game can change from another.
Eric Schizzle down by 2 with work to do here. 4 throws to go.
Looks like that could be,
Hold, please.
almost carbon copy throws by both competitors. Looks like that could be a 5 if it's popping through in the top part of the
4,
blade.
4.
But ruled a couple of 4s.
Couple of 4s, and Welp happy to exchange points
All right,
with
this is throw
Schizzle
8.
right now.
Ann
Just
is up
3
by
throws
2.
to go. Eric the Scope probably going to start thinking about that kill shot at some point.
We'll see. He's been very aggressive with that kill shot. There's a 4 there for Ann. And a nice, that looks like a flush bullseye there for Eric the Scope.
Well, no need for the kill shot now. Just like that, we are all tied up,
All right,
37
throw 9. We are
apiece.
tied.
The Scope now can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see how aggressive he gets.
And I'm interested to see how Eric wants to handle this because he's already hit that bullseye. He's tied this game up. Does he want to stay in that center ring, try to hit a 5 and match points with Ann, or does he want to be the aggressor? And you can see Ann off the mark. I wonder if she was aiming for that.
Eric the Scope, very aggressive, and
Yeah.
it looks like he hit it.
5-3.
Just missed it, but he still got inside that ring for a 5. So he extends his lead to 2 with 1 throw to go.
All
Yeah,
right,
and
throw
Ann
10,
off
Eric
the
is up
mark
by
there.
2.
Unfortunately, she had a 3, but very close to being one of those 5s or 6s. She just needs to focus up on that middle part of the
Alright,
board,
kill
and
shot
I
called on
believe
left.
Eric just called for the kill shot, so definitely left the door open for Ann to steal this game away.
He's got to at least get the 6 ring outside of the kill shot to get the win.
Ooh,
That is a
And he
miss
comes up
and a
off the
5.
mark,
wow.
giving Ann Welp
All right, Ann
her
takes that,
first
45,
victory of the
42.
season, 45-42.
Well, see, these are the kind of matches, Joey, that I thought we were anticipating coming into this season. With these new rules, there's a lot of chaos going on. There's a lot of variables to play with, and everyone's kind of still learning how to play the board, how they want to strategically go about it. But for Ann, I think she's demonstrated in this match how being consistent in that middle ring can really kind of separate you from your opponent, even if the skill level of your opponent is different than yours. But for her, she did a really nice job of living in that 4, 5, and 6 ring. She only had those 2 3s on her scorecard, but a nice score of 45. And then for Eric, we know him to be very aggressive. We see a 2 on his 5th throw, something we're not used to seeing. And unfortunately, he was off the mark on that 10th throw, but we know he's got some really good throws in him.
We've got much more Battle Axe still to come. We'll bring it to you straight ahead here on NC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Boston Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. It's week number 2 of a 7-week regular season, and it all leads up to a double elimination tournament where we will crown a Battle Axe champion for the 10th time. A lot of new rules this season, and it's been taking some adjustments for these players. Here's Beth Jen on her strategy.
For right now, I'm going to stick to the middle, and hopefully as the season progresses, I'll get more confidence in those outer bullseyes and start to go for those. I'm playing with a lot of new things this season. I have a new axe that's 3 ounces heavier, so I'm trying to adjust to that. I have a new stance that hopefully is going to make my throw more consistent. So I'm just playing around with a lot of new things, kind of just going back to the basics and starting at ground zero again to kind of relearn on these new boards what's going to work best for me.
Yeah, players like Jen, they spent so much time just really honing in on how to consistently hit bullseyes and 5s, and now they've got to go back to the drawing board and learn all over again.
Absolutely.
Beth Jen ready to go. She's going to take on Michelle Frummelt.
Well, and to your point, Joey, she also added a new wrinkle herself by throwing with a new axe, too. So we'll see how those all play together in her first matchup. Both competitors coming in at 1 and 3, and oof, don't like to see that. A 0 there, but a drop by Beth.
I'm not gonna say.
And then for Michelle, though, luckily for Beth, that was just a 2.
Come on.
So still
come on,
very much in this
swinging.
game
What's going on?
after 1 throw.
Give him the heater.
And a new stance from Beth Jen as well.
4, 4.
Great throw there from Michelle Frummelt. It was a 4, but right where you'd want it to be in the
Right.
middle of that board.
Yeah, and Michelle, another competitor that made a really nice run in the Week 8 tournament in the Fall League. Oh, so both competitors with 2 early drops. And although we do like to say, Joe, if you're going to have a drop, you want to have it early on in the match, but you never want to see 2 of them within the first 3 throws.
Flinging your wrist.
So a great throw there from Beth Jen, a 5 to give her a 3-point advantage.
Little attitude. I said the same thing.
And
to
as you
Give
could
a
hear
little
Eric the Scope
attitude.
saying that
Little mustard
Michelle is
on
just kind of flinging her wrist there, and as you can see how that axe is hitting that board, and for Beth, another devastating drop on her 4th throw, but still just a 1-point lead here for Michelle Frummelt going into the 5th throw.
Call it a little quicker. What do you mean? Like before
This
you
new
throw it?
axe and the new stance giving Beth Jen some problems in the early goings
throw
here
number
in
5.
week number 2.
Oh my gosh, and so just
3.
3 drops within the first 5 throws here for Beth Jen. I don't think we saw 3 drops from her all season last year.
No, I don't think so, Bobby. And just like that, Michelle Frummelt has a 4-point advantage. Now, they're going to have to switch sides. She was so in the zone that she was ready to go, but they'll switch sides, and we are underway in the second half.
Yeah, and for Beth, she's just got to focus up,
All right.
and it looks
5,
like that's a
2.
better throw there. Looks like a 5 there, so with that 2 from Michelle, she is able to get 3 points on her. And despite the 3 drops in the first 5 throws, Joey, this is still a 1-point game going into the 7th throw. So
got more issues than that.
looks like a 4 there for Michelle. Maybe it's a 5 if it's popping through. But ruled a 5 there for Beth Jen. So don't look now, but she's tied this thing up.
It's going to come down to these final 3 throws here between Michelle Frummelt and Beth Jen. Beth Jen, she's had a few drops, but she's still smiling, having a good time.
Well, she's making a comeback, both players. There's a nice bullseye. You can see the fist pump there by Beth Jen.
So that will give her a 2-point lead with 2 throws to go. Now she can no longer score 6 points by hitting the middle bullseye. We'll see her strategy. She said she was going to just keep trying to pound the middle.
Right. And I think the way that her axe wasn't hitting the board in her first 5 throws, I think she's more than happy just to see it stick. I don't even think she cares if it's a 4, 5, or 6.
Final throw coming. Michelle Frummelt needs a big one here.
There.
But it's Beth Jen with the big throw to put it away. She gets the win, 34-31.
Well, this is definitely a test of endurance for both competitors. As you can see, Beth with 3 drops in her first 5 throws. She put herself behind the 8 ball, but a really nice second half of the game that really allowed her to come back and take this thing 34-31. I don't know if this was so much of the players getting used to the board or it was them trying to get used to their new throws or the different elements that they've added to their game. But as it stands, Beth comes out 34-31 the victor. Michelle falls to 1-4. But as we saw in the tournament, Joey, both these competitors are high-level throwers, and they just need to kind of work out the kinks going into the new year.
Great job out of Beth Jen keeping her composure to come back and get the win. Leroy Kedley back for another season of Battle Axe. Here's Kedley on his strategy this season.
Stay consistent. I want to be consistent. Get out of the stick a lot more 5s. Maybe do some more bullseyes. Venture off on the bullseyes and some more kill shots. But like I said, we'll see where I'm at on the lead with other people, and we'll go from there.
Leroy Kedley ready to go here in season number 10 of Battle Axe. Time for our next matchup. It's Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley, and he will be taking on Bob Yoakum.
Bullseye Bob Yoakum back to make another run. He had another nice tournament in the Fall League. You see he's coming in at 4-0. And 2 thunderous throws there by Leroy and Bob. Leroy with a 4 and Bob with a 3. But Bob seems to be enjoying these new boards, as we saw on that leaderboard after week 1, Joe. He is 4-0 in that number 2 spot right behind the Magic Man Bradshaw. And it looks like that could be a 5 there for Leroy. Maybe a 5 here for Bullseye Bob.
5-5.
And it is, so a couple 5s there. Both players living in that 4, 5, and 6 ring.
That will keep it a 1-point lead for Leroy the Lumberjack.
And there's a nice throw there by Bullseye Bob. Might have our first bullseye of this matchup, and it is. So again, that bullseye will be eliminated from Bob's game until they switch sides.
And we will see what kind of strategy Bob Yoakum takes now that he's hit that center bullseye. Is he going to go for the outer ones?
Looks like he's just going to play that center of the board there. A strategy that we have seen work already tonight. So he's able to get another point there on Leroy. Leroy's just in the mindset of trying to find that bullseye ring. Trying to live in there consistently, holding on to the axe just a little bit too long there.
So Bob Yoakum will take a 3-point advantage into the second half against Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, and for both these competitors, they just want to keep finding that consistent throw. They know that they can really start to elevate their game once they find that consistent throw, and we've seen Bob really kind of take those steps to find that 4, 5, and 6 ring more consistently. But as most competitors still can do, he can still get stuck in the vortex like anybody else, and that seems to be where he is right now, but still has a 2-point lead over Leroy Kedley. There's a nice throw there. The axe getting away from Leroy a little bit.
4-3.
And a 3 there for Leroy Kedley. So Bob, although he's stuck in the vortex, still able to pick up a point there on Leroy going into the 8th throw.
Leroy Kedley with some work to do here on the final 3 throws.
5-4.
Yeah, Bob's just become a really consistent thrower. In this new format, mistakes are kind of, we're still figuring out exactly what a mistake looks like. But he's living in that 4, 5, and 6 ring, and it doesn't allow Leroy any leeway to come back in this game. And a nice throw there.
6-4.
And it's ruled a bullseye.
Bullseye Bob with his second bullseye of the match. And that extends his lead to 6. Will Leroy the Lumberjack go for a kill shot? Doesn't look like he's going to.
Well, he's looked like he was contemplating it, but
Kill shot call.
oh, and he does call for the kill shot there. So looks like that's a 5 there for Bob. But Leroy called for the kill shot, and he is off the mark. But I love the call, Joey.
No reason not to get a
5
little
miss.
aggressive there. Give yourself some experience going for a kill shot in a big situation. But it's Bob Yoakum getting the win, 47-36.
Yeah, Bob with a really nice match here. 47. You can see there he's got the 2 bullseyes there on his 3rd and his 9th throw. Did get stuck in the vortex there a little bit and had that 3 to start off the match, but rebounded nicely, had a really nice 3 throws to end that matchup. And then for Leroy, he was really aggressive on that kill shot, going for it on that 10th throw, so we always love seeing that. But too many 3s, and he kind of got stuck in that vortex a little bit as well. But he just needs to start focusing up on that 5 and 6 ring, and then if he can consistently stay there, we've seen that strategy already work out here tonight and possibly come away with some more victories.
Well, we've got a couple more matches still to go here on week number 2 of Battle Axe. We'll bring them to you straight ahead here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. It's been an exciting second week of this 10th season of the show. A lot of new rules, and it's made for some really exciting action, Bobby.
Oh, yeah, we've seen some tremendous matchups. Definitely the middle of the pack is starting to rise, and we're kind of seeing some really interesting matchups going on, and can't wait for this next one.
Couple more matchups still to go here in week number 2. Jill Kedley will be taking on Beth Jen.
Yeah, so we saw a bit of a difficult matchup here for Beth Jen in her first match. She had 3 drops in her first 5 throws, but still was able to overcome that and come out the victor to improve her record to 1-4. And for Jill, she had a really nice matchup versus Eric the Scope. And she had a nice throw on her 10th throw, as did Ann Welp did. So we'll see if she can carry it over, but it looks like a couple 4s here for both competitors to get the night started.
Beth Jen, her new stance with her new axe. We'll see if she can get into rhythm here in her second match of week number 2. Beth Jen and Jill Kedley stuck in the vortex right now.
Yeah, and I think after the start that Beth had in her first matchup, she's happy to be stuck in the vortex. She's just happy to see that blade stick into the wood there. There's a nice throw there by Jill. That looks like that could be a bullseye, and a bullseye there for Beth Jen as well.
Some big throws there from Kedley and Jen. They will no longer be able to score 6 points on the center bullseye until they switch sides for the second half.
Beth still sticking in that middle. Nice 5 there by Jill Kedley. So she's able to take a 1-point lead going into the 5th throw.
All right, this is throw number 5, Jill by 1.
So with both competitors still trying to hit that middle of the board, Joey, I think we're just going to see kind of a traditional old matchup here where it's just whoever can live in that 5 and 6 ring the most can come out the victor. But Beth off the mark there.
4-3.
Well, it looks like Jill Kedley may have been going for that outside bullseye.
Right.
She was off the mark and got a 3, so that will tie things up at 22 heading into the second half.
I think you're right, Joey. After hitting that bullseye on her 3rd throw, she looks like she went down for that lower right-hand side. And with another bullseye here on her 6th throw, let's see if she continues that strategy. So
this is
up by 2. It's just a matter of how aggressive does she want to get against Beth Jen.
Looks like that's a 5 there for Beth Jen. And Jill did scoot over, and she is down there at the 5 ring, so she has knocked that 5. But that bullseye is still very much in play, but she's getting closer and closer to it, Joey.
Throw number 8, Jill by
I love the aggressive play, the progression of the player.
It makes things awfully exciting because it's a high risk high reward scenario.
Three,
And just a
silence.
devastating time for a drop there from Beth Jen.
Yeah, and with that throw from Jill, looks like it's going to be a 3. Matt's going to get a closer look. But Jill, regardless of the call, is going to extend her lead.
Pushed it.
36-31, ruled a 3. Matt getting a closer look, showing Jill. It's not popping through on that 4 ring, but still. Up by 5, going to the 9th throw. Great position for Jill to be in.
9, Jill by 6, 36-31.
So we'll see how Beth Jen responds here. She still has that middle bullseye on this side of the lane. And let's see if Jill continues her strategy. And she does, but she is off the mark.
She might have gotten that bullseye, though, on the kill shot.
That looks-
No, just missed it, it looks
Jill
like.
by 1.
So it's a bullseye for
38-37.
Beth
Throw
Chen,
number
and just
10.
like that, we have a 1-point game. Kedley clinging to the lead.
So already there, Joey, we see another wrinkle within the strategy. Jill deciding to stick with going for that outside bullseye instead of just playing the center of the board. Devastating 2 allows Beth to come back, but it is all
Jill
for
takes
naught.
down 42,
After a couple
41.
4s on the 10th throw, Jill comes out the victor.
Jill Kedley winning this one by the slimmest of margins, 42-41 over Beth Jen.
Yeah, so Beth Jen falls to 1 in 5. She did have that bullseye there on her 9th throw, but she did have another drop, Joey, on that 8th throw. So a total score of 41. Beth kind of working through a lot of different things in the early going, but for Jill Kedley, proves her record to 3-3, and this is the second time, Joey, we've seen her go up against a higher caliber thrower, and she's stuck with him. This time she comes out the victor with a score of 42, but I like what I'm seeing from Jill so far.
And another very exciting matchup that went down to the final throw. Here with all of these new exciting rules, we've saved the best matchup for last here in week number 2. It's the defending champion, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, against unbeaten Bullseye Bob Yoakum.
Yeah, so 1 versus 2 coming into the week 2 of our Battle Axe season. Bob undefeated at 5-0, Matt at 3-2. Nice start there by Bob. Looks like that could be a 5, possibly a 6. And what else is new? Matt throws a 6 there to get the night started.
Yeah, the middle bullseye is never an issue for Bradshaw, but it's going to be getting those outside bullseyes that will be the new challenge for the Magic Man this season.
Absolutely, and Bob not intimidated at all. Throws, looks like a nice
Sorry,
bullseye
6-5.
there. And that will be a 5 there for Matt. So we are all tied up, and that center bullseye is off the mark.
So Matt not getting too aggressive on his second throw. We'll see how aggressive he gets with Bob Yoakum putting the pressure right on him.
5-5.
Bob with another 5 there, electing to play the middle of the board, and it looks like that's the strategy of the Magic
All right,
Man. So
throw
in our
4,
first
we are
matchup, we
tied.
saw him start moving around to that top left bullseye, but electing through 3 throws to stay in that middle. We all know that Matt's great at making those in-game adjustments. And it looks like this is a decision he's decided to make.
5-5.
So he's just taking his 5s. Ruled a 5 there for Bob, but we're going to see if that's confirmed, and it is.
Yeah, you know it's no problem for the Magic Man to just pound that 5 ring. So if you're Bob Yoakum, what's your strategy going to be? Are you going to try and just keep pace with him, or at some point are you going to get a little aggressive?
Yeah, at some point, I think
4
it's a little bit
5?
of both, Joey. You'd like to try to keep pace with him. Clearly, through 5 throws, he's doing exactly that. Matt's only up by 1 going into the turn. Now this bullseye resets. Maybe you want to continue to get that one out of the way. See if you can get a quick point on the Magic Man and then start becoming aggressive. Nice flush bullseye there by the Magic Man. But yeah, I think it's one of the interesting things that we're going to discover throughout this
6-4.
league here is how these new rules kind of play into strategy. Maybe a lot more in-game decisions that need to be made instead of like what we decided to do before the match started. We're just going to do that. You have to kind of mix it up and figure it out as you go along.
So Bradshaw now up by 3. Bob Yoakum needed a bullseye there,
5-6.
and Bullseye Bob delivers.
He did so. Creating a deficit of
All right, this
2
is
points here
throw
for
8. Matt is
Bob
up by
Yoakum going
2.
into the 8th throw. Still very much in this game.
But at some point, he's going to have to take a big shot and go for one of those outside bullseyes, you'd think, to catch
Absolutely.
the Magic Man.
Absolutely. And for
5-4.
Matt, it would be interesting to see in his situation, is he just going to keep playing this middle? I mean, he
This
has
is
the
throw
lead,
9.
was able to
Matt
pick
is
up a
up by
point there
3.
on Bob Yoakum. So is he just going to rely on Bob to make a mistake? Or is he going to be the aggressor? Looks like a 5 there for Bob Yoakum.
5-5.
And another bullseye, but ruled a 5.
All right.
So
throw
Bradshaw
10.
happy
Matt is
to
up by
trade
3.
points at this point in the matchup. It's a 3-point lead heading into the final throw.
Oh,
All right,
And
kill shot
Bullseye
ball
Bob
on
is
both
going to go
sides.
up for the kill shot.
and Matt's going to go up as well, I believe. So this is mutually assured destruction. We'll see how it all plays out. Bob looks like he could be close. We'll have to get a closer look.
Okay, hold please.
And Matt's very close as well.
This is going to come down to the ruling of Beth Jen.
And of course, she's going to keep us all in suspense. Wait till she gets a good look at both shots.
Okay, it's a miss for Matt and a 6.
Whoa!
Well, Bob
Wow.
Yoakum
So Bob takes
remains
that 50-47.
unbeaten, taking down the defending champion, hitting the 6 ring outside of the kill shot on his final throw. He wins it 50-47.
Wow, just a tremendous turn of events there for Bob Yoakum. He decides to go for the kill shot up with Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. And fortunately for Bob Yoakum, he was able to hit that 6 ring. Although he missed the kill shot, hitting that 6 ring, he still gets the 6 points. And then for Matt, you saw it there from the action cam. Very, very close to hitting that 6 ring. Would have come out the victor. But as it stands, he has a round of 47, falling to 3-3. Joey, I think we've done multiple seasons of this show and not seen Matt the Magic Man have 3 losses. So these new rules are definitely having an effect, and I think in a very good way, because we're starting to see some really exciting matches.
Yeah, you think about how many times we've seen the Magic Man go undefeated an entire season. Here he is, already with 3 losses after just 2 weeks of competition. Time now for our post-game wrap-up.
Well, we're not used to seeing Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw with 3 losses, but we are used to seeing him at the top of the leaderboard, and that's exactly where he is with 400 points, averaging 50 points, so able to increase his average by 2 points going into the night. So, but Bob Yoakum's right behind him at 8-0, followed by Zach Hinkle, Eric Schizzle, Leroy Kedley, Devin Hillary, Beth Jen, Michelle Fremelt, Jill Kedley, and Ann Welp rounding up the top 10.
The Magic Man improving his average score by a couple of points. If he's getting better, that's trouble for the rest of this league. Thanks for watching this episode of Battle Axe. We'll bring you much more next time here on MC22.